We've been talking for a while about, backlog and pipeline, but this is the proof. We are installing multi-asset systems for customers. We're collaborating with some of, the greatest defense and security contractors that are out there right now. In fact, our data is streaming to Anduril, who is integrating it into their system to provide it to the Department of Homeland Security.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Philipp Stratmann. He is the CEO of Ocean Power Technologies. And Philipp, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Doing well, Steve. Good to be on.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Really interesting news out from the company talking about deploying 3 PowerBuoys for a DHS surveillance network that they put together. And first off, obviously you've set a record here for most buoys ever deployed for a customer. This is a pretty big one.
Yeah, we're pretty. I think we're more than excited about this one. It's like seeing all the work that the commercial and technical teams on our side have been putting into it, and actually deploying 3 systems that are working together and streaming data live. It's a fascinating sight to see. And given the fact that this is happening right off California, off San Diego, in an operational use case, is even more exciting. It's great, and I think it's what's really going to help advance the next set of multi-system deployments, no matter where you need them.
I also noted in the news release that you had gone to 3,500 feet of water, and I don't think that I've ever seen you go that deep. Is that the farthest you have ever gone?
That is by far the deepest we have ever installed anything. And what is great to see about this is the fact that this truly moves our systems from coastal and continental shelf type applications to the ocean. It's that's over a kilometer of water depth. We've proven out that the system works, and this now opens up the aperture for really expanding surveillance networks, monitoring networks for any type of application far out into whatever water depth there might be.
I would imagine that it's because it's DHS and that's around it, and the fact that this is a real customer using real data. You're getting a lot of really interesting news from this, has really pushed towards the next stage of where you want to go with the company.
Yes, we've been talking for a while about, backlog and pipeline, but this is the proof. We are installing multi-asset systems for customers. We're collaborating with some of, the greatest defense and security contractors that are out there right now. In fact, our data is streaming to Anduril, who is integrating it into their system to provide it to the Department of Homeland Security. That sort of sets the outline and baseline of how to take this further. You deploy multi-systems in areas where you need to know what's happening. We'll happily collaborate with larger prime contractors so that you can then use our systems as one piece of the puzzle to provide you that missing bit of data that exists out at the edge in the ocean, and feed that into all the other intelligence you have to really get a picture of what's happening out there so you can act upon it.
Yeah. Lastly, just I know that we've seen a lot of action, and we've talked about the Strait of Hormuz before, and what you see in the Middle East. But I would imagine that you must be saying to yourself, like, this is a great opportunity here for our systems to be effective in that particular area for what we've seen right now. I mean, I'm sure you're getting fielding lots of questions about that.
It's a pretty intriguing area at the moment. I think the general seaway security and port security has always been an important topic, but I think the immediacy and urgency of it is really becoming obvious to everybody right now. We already we have good partnerships in the region, and we already have one of our buoys deployed, which I think we announced a while ago in the UAE. We've got several vehicles that are pre-staged over there. I think the recent announcement and appointments that we made of having a GM who's based in the UAE, we've got another GM who's based in Saudi. That's helping to underpin those conversations and be part of the local dialogue, as opposed to it being something where we suddenly try and provide a system. So it's not just the Middle East or the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that's obviously what everybody sees publicly right now. But there's lots of constrained seaways around the world where there's lots of activities going on, like the Eastern Baltic, where we need way more eyes and ears on what's happening out in the ocean.
Absolutely. Philip, thanks so much. Really great update for you. Congratulations on this. Very interesting. I'd love to see how all this works out in the next months to come. So good to see you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Great to be on.
All right, there's Philipp Stratmann, the CEO of Ocean Power Technologies.